try to go?
Yeah, and that's why
I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Everybody could grab a chair. We've got Stephen Hardy and Zach with us on Skype. I'm not sure if we've got the audio up on that yet.
Working.
Can you hear us, guys? No, they're just looking. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I've asked Mike to go ahead and kick us off and do a little introduction, and we probably go around and all introduce ourselves.
Great, thanks a lot. It is exciting. They've been starting to compile the different ideas. I mean, there's literally thousands of ideas that have been generated, not only in the Mind Mixer, but at some of the public forums. So the site, the Town Hall Mind Mixer site has said that they've never seen a response like they've seen here in Fargo. So they're actually talking to other cities. Kansas City's doing it right now, and now I know Grand Forks is looking at doing something similar. So we are getting some responses here, and the ideas are starting to bubble up. And a lot of it, if you look at the Go2030.net site, has to do with things that have been identified as priorities earlier, things like walking and biking and daily activities, more active community. So I just want to really thank the technical committee for Go2030, Jim and staff, and that have been putting this together. And I want to really thank the public, especially there's so many young people involved, and we need more of that. So I think one of our speakers said that even if you don't just do a single plan, as long as you keep that community engagement going, that's going to be the most important thing of this whole thing, is to continue to keep the community and hear their ideas and keep them engaged. So with that, maybe we can introduce ourselves. I'm Mike, and Mike Williams, Fargo City Commissioner.
And I'm Kim Lepetsky with Fargo Cast Public Health.
Peggy Palms, Planning Commission.
Dave Peppercorn, Fargo City Commission.
John Paulson, Fargo City
You're demoting yourself.
That's a real slip, Mr. Paulson, where you want to be.
I'll lead the campaign, John.
Next June, vote for John.
John Miller, Fargo Planning Commission.
Jim Gilmore, Fargo Planning Department.
Eric Dodds, Advanced Engineering.
Pat Zavril, City of Fargo.
Bruce Grubb, I'm the Enterprise Director for the City of Fargo.
Bob Stein, Fargo Planning. Jeff Morrow, Fargo Planning Commission.
Nicole Crutchfield, Fargo Planning.
Joe Nagg, Fargo Moorhead Council of Governments.
Mike Ellingston, NDSU.
Cam Knudsen, NDSU.
Kelly Staffas, Planning Commission.
Rocky Schneider with the Home Builders Association.
Bryce Johnson with the Home Builders Association.
Kevin McKinnon, Economic Development Corporation.
Steve Stoner, the Park Company.
Good morning, Roger Gress, Fargo Park District.
Hi, Jan Alford Stewart with the Planning Commission.
Dan Molly, City of Fargo Planning Department.
Cindy Gray, SRF Consulting Group.
Stephanie Falkers, SRF Consulting Group.
And my name is Jim Hinderacher, planner with the City of Fargo. I want to welcome everyone today to our steering committee meeting. I really appreciate your involvement in the process, and today I think we're going to have a good session, a big working session. We really want to get some good ideas from the committee. The first thing I want to do is let everybody know that we do have some coffee and refreshments over on the table on the north side. The coffee pots that are in front of you are actually your water, so if you're looking for coffee, it's on the north side. Today, what we really want to look at in terms of the purpose of today's meeting is I want to provide some update to the steering committee. I'll let you know that what we've been working on for the last couple of months. We also want to take some time and review the vision and guiding principles document that has been prepared based on a lot of the input that we've heard at both the public meeting that was held back in June 23rd and then also from the Mind Mixer website. And then we also want to have some breakout sessions and actually look at potential opportunities and put together an inventory map. And we'll wrap it up talking about some of the next steps as we move forward. Hopefully, too, I'm not sure if we've got Stephen Hardy, Zach Flanders with BNIM. We've got them on Skype behind me here. I'm not sure, we don't have an audio with them yet, so hopefully we'll have them up and we'll have them engaged in the discussion as well. I want to make this as actually informal as possible. It's not about me talking today. We want to hear from the steering committee, so feel free to jump in at any point. I thought it was important to at least give a little refresher of where we're at. We did start this, we had an informational introductory meeting with the steering committee back in late April. It's really kind of coming out of our 2011 flood fight, so there's a lot of stuff going on, and so we had that introductory meeting. Then we had our formal kickoff of this process on April 25th. We had kind of a soft start maybe a month ahead of that, but because of the flood, we really pushed that back about a month, but that's when we had our news conference. In late April, this was really the exciting part. We had the Go2030 website up and running, a lot of information about the comp plan, what it is, why it's important, how to get involved. Starting on April 28th, we had a kickoff of our speaker series. Hopefully we've had a number of you that have been attending those meetings, but it's really been exciting. I think we've had about 5 speakers to date, ranging from Wendy Holmes, who was here talking about art space and maybe rehabbing old abandoned warehouses and creating apartment space and studio space for the art community. The exciting thing about that is in other communities where this has occurred, it's really generated a lot of synergy around that activity, and you've seen a lot of redevelopment and interest in those spaces. We also had Jack Becker was talking about the importance of public art. Maybe on the other side, we had Rick Harrison here that talked about his concept for subdivisions. His book is called Perfurbia. He spent a lot of time looking at ways to better design, make better use of infrastructure in suburban neighborhoods. There's better ways that we can do these things. We've also had Dr. Kevin McCall and Dr. Alan Ashworth that talked about social psychology and climate change. Some really interesting speakers that have been involved in these speaker sessions. If you didn't get a chance to make any of these sessions, they are all available online on our Go2030.net website. You can download those and view those at your leisure. We're hoping to have more of these as we work through the process. If you're aware of any speaker that might be interested in doing something like this, by all means, give me a call. The reason I ask that is we don't really have much of a budget, so we're looking for volunteers that could help out. Then we held our first meeting back in June 23rd. We had about 100 people in attendance at that meeting. The thing to me that was really exciting about it was a really diverse group. We had the kind of across the spectrum in terms of the ages that were represented. I think also different economic classes were at that meeting. The young people were very energized, very excited. I mean, they had some pretty creative and colorful ideas. To some extent, maybe a lot of those are a little more lofty than what we'll probably see, but it's that kind of thing. It gets those creative juices going and gets us thinking about these different things that I think is so important. And then we had our first kind of steering meeting back on June 24th, which is really a debriefing of that June 23rd meeting. I wanted to go ahead and put up a graph that shows what we're really thinking in terms of the phases of this plan. The initial portion of this is really the discovery phase. It's really gathering baseline information about our city, getting a snapshot of where we're at today, and so we're starting to wrap that up, and we're moving into the analyzing stage of the process. And so we should be wrapping that up towards the end of September into October, and then starting to get a little more succinct with our plan. So that's really kind of the strategy. We're hopeful to have this wrapped up in about a year. Again, we started in a little before the April kickoff meeting that we had, really more probably in March. So we're hopeful to have the plan wrapped up that time in 2012. I want to talk a little bit about the technical team that has been working for you. I mentioned the baseline data collection. That was something that I think was very important in terms of what the consultant is working with. They need to have an understanding of where the city of Fargo is at today in terms of transportation, infrastructure, housing. It's really kind of across the board in terms of having that good understanding so that we have some basis in which to work off of. We've been having ongoing updates with our consultant team, probably about a weekly meeting, trying to make sure that we stay on track with a lot of things that are going on in terms of the baseline data collection if they need more information. We've got a lot of maps that are here today that are kind of a culmination of those discussions. In addition to that, we've been actively involved in promotion of the Go2030. I've actually been going out to numerous service clubs and talking with those groups, student organizations. Actually had an exciting session yesterday afternoon with a land development class for NDSU. One of the projects they're actually involved in is the Go2030 plan. Their land development class is really wanting to understand kind of the ins and outs of development and the policy behind it. And so the comprehensive plan is a unique opportunity for them. One of the projects they're actually engaging in is looking at communities across the country, large cities. For example, they're looking at Miami, Chicago, LA, and putting together some boards about what works and what doesn't work in terms of making those communities vibrant and exciting. My understanding is they are planning to attend our next public meeting, and we'll have those boards actually available for citizens that are interested in taking a look at it. So it's pretty exciting, the things we've got going on there. I met with the Home Builders Association. Again, part of what I'm looking at here is trying to educate that we do have the comp plan process ongoing. We want information, we want input, and we really want to get it from everybody in our community, and we want to make sure that we've got a good balance of representation. We've also been doing some on-air TV and radio shows. Actually, we've got our TV or radio personality with us, Dave Pepcorn. I was doing a radio show last week and had an opportunity to be on that, so that was exciting. We'll let Dave talk about that a little more. And then it's really monitoring and updating the website. I wanted to then kind of move on to the public input, really where we've gotten the data at this point. We had a number of one-on-one interviews when the consultant was here during that week of the first public meeting. We had those one-on-one interviews. I think those were beneficial. I think when they're up here for the next public meeting in September, we're going to try to do more of those and really look at trying to talk to some key people in our community and get a good understanding of where they're at and what they'd like to see in the future. We also held a student focus group. I mentioned the public meeting back in June. About 100 people that attended that. We're hoping to even get more of those at the next public meeting. But the big thing that I think that's exciting, and hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at it, is the mind mixer, the Go2030townhall.com. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we've had over 40,000 views on that website. It sounds like it's probably one of the most successful tools across the country in terms of using this for a comprehensive plan. We've had 329 different ideas that have been posted on the Mind Mixer, and those ideas have generated about 1,800 comments. So it's really exciting to see the involvement that this particular tool has created, or the opportunity that it's created for individuals in our community to go on and comment. The thing that I do want to caution with this is that you know, it is reaching maybe one segment of the population, and to the extent that we can get the word out to other segments of the population that may not be using this social media type tool, I think is very important. Again, the broader we can be in terms of getting comments and input from the citizens of Fargo, I think the better that we all are. Wanted to get into a little bit about the updating process and kind of what we heard from the public meeting and also from the Mind Mixer. And this was an interesting graphic. This is actually in one of your handouts, but this is really a word count that represents the number of times that these particular words came up during the public meeting, during the interviews, stuff that's posted. And right there in the middle of that, you're seeing community, Fargo. It's really exciting. Energy, transportation, those kind of buzzwords. I mean, people really do understand what's going on in our community, and it's really kind of telling to take a look at this, what they find important. So it's just a really cool graphic. Kind of the thing that I wanted to get in today as we move forward, we're wanting to talk a little bit about our vision and our guiding principles behind that. But we want to make sure that that vision and those guiding principles are based on the input that we've heard. And I went ahead and just pulled off a couple of quotes that we had from some of the public input. You know, it's one here. It says, when many Fargoans think of sand, they think of sandbags, and it needs to change. I think people are tired of fighting the floods. I know the city is working very aggressively to get us out of the sandbagging business, but though, you know, those are things that people are concerned about. The next one here, make Fargo